Welcome to Love to See It, a podcast about daughters and siblings who are just desperately trying to pull words and emotions out of Mel Owens.
And mostly failing at it because, unfortunately, our dear Mel is incapable.
It's just not what he's bringing to the table. So, here to discuss Mel's hometown episode with us is friend of the pod, journalist and author Lisa Belkin. Lisa, welcome back to Love to See It.
Great to be here. Wish there was something better to talk
Wish it was
about.
under different circumstances.
Can we just discuss the weather or paint drying or something?
I think Mel would prefer any of those conversations to having to share his emotions with the family members of these women.
It was stunning, but let's break it down.
Let's see if we can articulate Mel's emotions more clearly than Mel articulated them to
Well, I do have thoughts.
families.
So yes. So let's see if we can articulate.
So before we get started, a little bit of housekeeping. Yesterday, we released our recap of the Love is Blind Season 9 finale. We also got into some of the news and gossip that's been floating around this season. So if you missed that, scroll back in the feed. It's right there. Over on Rich Text, we put out an episode last week exploring our love of Diane Keaton and the 1987 classic Baby Boom. And a pod about Nobody Wants This Season 2 is coming soon. So you can find those episodes and more at claireandemma.substack.com.
Let's get into it. We start off with a cold open. Cindy appears to be talking to her daughter, who is asking if she feels grounded with Mel. And Cindy tells her daughter that she actually might love Mel. And her daughter doesn't look thrilled.
Her daughter is concerned. She's like, okay, but does he love you? Does he love you so much that he's going to choose you only forever?
And her daughter is strikingly articulate compared to a lot of the other people in this particular episode.
I think this was a great episode for daughters, personally.
I mean, she had something, I am trusting you, but I have my concerns. I thought was diplomatic and well stated and a perfect summary. And
she was trying. Everyone was trying with Mel.
The daughters were really speaking for us. They were articulating every concern that we as the audience have been having watching. So back to the beginning of the week. Mel is headed to LAX. We see him driving in the car, and then we see him sitting in the bulkhead row of what appears to be economy class on the plane.
Wow.
The budget went to music.
I'm sorry. This man, look, your talent, especially talent over the age of 50, I'm sorry. Give him a more comfortable seat.
Yeah, no, he's those legs are long. And
he's a football player.
He did not look comfortable.
He got the bulkhead row. That's a few extra inches. So
the row fit him as badly as many of his suits. It was
My first impression was similarly to many of the cold opens is oh wow, they're spending a lot of time on this. How little happens in this episode that we're seeing him in the car and on the plane. We have a chance to see him turn several pages in his heavily highlighted book. Maybe he's trying to gather some last minute insight from Picasso, who had famously wonderful relationships with women. Meanwhile, he tells us that he's looking forward to meeting the families because it's so important. They could be in each other's lives forever. So he wants the tough questions. Peg, Cindy, and Debbie are all great women, and it's going to be a difficult decision.
This is about the most specific I think he gets with his praise of these women. They're great. And
I wanted to buy the man a thesaurus, okay?
But we know that he can whip out more interesting words. It's like they're slipping away from him as we get closer to the end.
I think he is truly so uncomfortable doing this job.
Yeah.
Which is why he should not have been hired for this job.
Well, but also he is bad at lying. So others are equally uncomfortable over the years when they go to hometowns. Others know that they are throwing around bullshit and they're not going to end up with these people. but he can't bring
give
himself to say
comfort.
that.
Yeah. He can really only convey emotion when he's feeling, I think, quite a lot of it. And so to fake emotion when he's not feeling it is a tall order for him. So first we head to Las Vegas for Peg's hometown, and he tells us that he's smitten by her because she's full of life.
I will say, actually, maybe that is the strongest we hear him speak about a woman. Smitten.
Yeah, smitten. That's true. That's the most romantic sounding phrase or word we hear.
There's a stunning lack of the code words we've been used to, right? There's he will not say, I think I might possibly be maybe falling for you. Right.
Yeah.
He won't do that. And I can't tell whether it's because he just doesn't feel it and he's terrible at lying, or because he really is a monosyllabic, grunter around
Lunkhead.
Women.
Based off of other things that he has said about himself and that, I suspect that he is not always like he's described himself as a spark plug. Like, is he that lacking in self-awareness, or is he truly just drawing in on himself because he can't stand his life on this show, because he hates performing for the cameras, because he hates pretending to have these relationships? I don't know. But he is refusing to do the love levels. He's refusing to say that he's progressing at all. And when he talks about the women, the most he can usually say is that he feels like good about them and he likes them. So smitten feels strong. Peg greets him in front of her firehouse, and she tells him she's never shown anyone her firehouse before. He says he'll be on his best behavior, and she's like, no, throw some F-bombs. Like, be a man, like do the man stuff. We're at the firehouse. And inside she tells him she had a career on the pole, and she sort of jokingly dangles from the pole that you slide down. She does so much of this material for him, and he's always sort of just like, yeah.
He was at a firehouse. He was a football player at a firehouse, and he did not seem very excited. I thought that would be great fun.
Has he ever seemed excited in our time with him?
I think a little bit during their date at the fair.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's
the
true.
whole time.
The first night he was more animated, right? Watching them come out of he was a bit more animated. Like, okay, this is a nice candy store. This might be interesting.
I think it's starting to feel very real, and he is very uncomfortable holding all of these women's strong feelings. I think we hoped we would see him loosen up. He's gotten only stiffer, but it does feel like he really enjoys Peg.
Mm-hmm.
She seems enjoyable. They all seem enjoyable.
Yeah,
these are great women, as usual. These are great women.
She tells us it takes a certain type of guy to walk into this environment. I've never brought a guy back to the firehouse because these guys will chew him up and spit him out. Which is fascinating because, I just sort of envisioned that she would be dating firehouse kind of guys. And she's like, no, those are my colleagues. I date men who certainly couldn't be in the same room as a firefighter. They wouldn't be able to handle it. She shows Mel her locker, her bomb squad robot. She tells him about her career, moving from the floor to the bomb squad and what it was like all those years on the force. And he gets to sit inside the fire truck. He's like, these type of places you just can't get into. I would invite him to walk around a city with a toddler because you can get into a fire truck.
Yeah, that's
like 50% of the job of a firefighter is showing toddlers fire trucks.
I was going to say, I absolutely have old photos of myself as a toddler sitting in a fire truck.
100%.
I think that's the job of a toddler, not just a firefighter. The job of a toddler is to get into a fire truck.
Yeah, once we were at a beach and a fire truck just pulled up and was like, are there any kids here who would like to get inside the fire truck?
One of our dogs particularly loved fire trucks, would chase them around, would try and climb in them. So,
another good ticket into the firehouse.
They're
a cute dog.
That tough to get into.
I don't know.
Mel's he's never felt comfortable asking. So Peg tells Mel that in her world, you have to have super thick skin. Not only are you living with 25 guys, you have all these dramatic calls to deal with. And he's like, I understand everything you do is life or death. And she's like, yeah. And then you just deal with the feelings that come with that later. And she tells him that she's not looking for fireworks in her relationship anymore because she's had that and it didn't work. She's looking for a fireplace, a slow burn. And Mel is like, "Oh, well, the slow burn goes on for a much longer period of time."
Profound, Mel.
Yes, Mel,
Profound.
that is sort of the thing.
It's so because he says at the beginning of this week that he, like, really, understands that he wants the families to ask him tough questions. He's so, like, ready, and he doesn't seem to have prepared any answers longer than one word to anything, and these women are coming with these, like, beautiful metaphors,
I
and
know.
Yeah,
he's
no,
got
I
nothing to say back.
particularly liked that metaphor. That
I
was a lovely metaphor.
Me too.
No, all three of these women are able to really articulate their feelings, talk about the journey, talk about what they want. And that is why it's such a stark contrast to see Mel giving nothing.
So
Yeah.
I
Well,
spent most of the time watching thinking, yeah, that one will be a good Bachelorette. Yeah, I look forward to the next season with that. I mean, that because I'm past this already. I want to
yeah.
know who, if they continue the franchise.
Ugh, I know.
I'm wondering who comes next
Any
because
of
that's
these
where I
three,
am.
any of
Yeah.
these three, I think could
I'm
do
in
it.
for any of those three.
Afterward, Mel is feeling great. She's the real deal. And if her family is anything like her, he's expecting a party.
Unfortunately, her family wants to ask him a few basic questions.
Yeah. They don't have beautiful metaphors about how wonderful their relationship is. They have hard questions for Mel. So Peg's family, her mom, Dorothy, her daughter, Dakota, and her daughter's boyfriend, Cole, as in Coles, her brother, Guy, and her sister-in-law, Brenda, are all waiting for them. Her mom is very excited. We learned she's been watching the show for 20 years. And
I
Cole is
loved
like, "Oh,
that.
so you're a member of Bachelor Nation."
Yes, Dorothy, a student of
Yes.
the game.
I love when we get screen time, right? It's like we're all part of this now. When Mel and Peg walk in, Dakota immediately starts sobbing. We know they're very close, and like it's immediately very apparent. Guy is hoping that Mel is really smitten with Peg because she deserves that. And he sits Mel down and tells him that Peg's past partners haven't been able to really hold her and love her and just be kind. And he asks if Mel is capable of that and if he's done it before. And Mel says, quote, "I want to do those things."
Well, it's the first step, I suppose.
Right. It sounds like it would be the only step here because he's not saying that he is capable of it or that he's done it, just that he wants to.
I want to be kind, but will you be? Who
Mel.
can say?
But those evil forces keep taking over and preventing it. Yes. I'd like
you
to
were
be kind.
you were married for over 2 decades. Do you have any sort of like resume to bring
that's
to this?
Well, that's the
thing.
one time that he said "I love you." We learned.
Yeah.
We have no sense of anything else about that marriage. I mean,
Well,
he
it's fascinating
really
to me
rarely
still.
talks about it.
Yeah. She was much younger. He met her, well, he married her when she was in her early 20s and he was in his 40s. So that's another thing that keeps striking me when he says that. It's like he lived 20 years of his adulthood apparently without ever saying I love you to anyone, without being in love,
Right.
which is a long time. Like it's not unheard of, but it's unusual.
And we know that she ended it, but we don't
Yeah.
know a whole lot about what scars he's carrying and what pain he is
No,
feeling.
and clearly it's there, but he's not really that willing to talk about it.
Yeah. So Guy asks who he wants to be sitting with when the lights are down and he's in his living room, which is an interesting picture to paint. I know he means like after the cameras go away, but it sounds like he's sitting alone in a dark living room and there's just someone else there. And he's like, "Is that my sister that you want to be sitting with?" And Mel says, "I really like your sister. She's special," which sounds to me like a no. Like,
I don't
or
even know
not
if
your
he means
sister.
it that way, but like
Yeah.
he just I think he's so anxious about making any false promises that he becomes completely allergic to offering these families even like a modicum of reassurance that he gives a shit about
Right.
their
Now,
family member.
to be fair, false promises have become a big problem over the years in this particular show. So
agree. I think it's like a
can
tough-
understand that.
I mean, I
Yeah.
guess in a way I respect it, but like there are things that you can say that will give comfort to a family that aren't, I'm going to marry your mom or sister or whatever. You can say, I've had such an incredible experience. I wouldn't be here if I didn't see the possibility of a future with this person. XYZ things are things that I've grown to really admire about her. Like, there are things you can say that don't involve making a promise that you're going to break.
It would be nice if he also found actual things to praise in that sentence that Emma is suggesting, right? So, I've come to admire XYZ is not her spunk and her company, which are the sorts of things he was saying.
Yeah, it's a delicate, like, tightrope to walk between not overpromising and this, but, like, you do want, hopefully, the person that you end up with for their family to feel excited and not like he didn't even know who you were. He didn't have any enthusiasm about your company. Like, he asked, would you wanna be with her when this all goes away? And he didn't say, I see a strong possibility of that because I love her company. He said, I really like your sister, which is just like evading the actual question here. It's like saying, I don't even want to say that I could potentially see myself with her after this.
But then it's funny because he does the same thing with all of them. So
Right.
he's not like.
Right. So Peg talks to her mom, who asks if she's fond of Mel, and Peg is like, yes, he's a nice guy. She tells her mom that if Mel proposed at the end of this, she thinks she'd say yes. And she jokes then, like, well, he has to ask for your permission. And Dorothy is like, well, should I say yes? And Peg is like, I think you should say yes.
But of course, we do not see him asking anyone's permission.
No, which I'm very fine with.
Right.
That's great.
Right.
Let's
they
skip
seem
over
to have
that.
cut that.
Yeah. It's, I guess at this point, they all see it as a bit of a joke. Like, I'm in my 60s. Do I really need my mom to give?
Like, we are all grown here.
Right.
It's
like,
fine.
I would love if we saw it as a joke when people were in their 20s and 30s, when they are also full-grown adults who can make their own decisions. Dakota tells us that her mom doesn't put up with BS, so she must really like Mel. And then we see Dakota sit down for a conversation with Mel. I think we have a clip.
Yeah? How are you feeling about my mom?
Great.
Okay. Why?
Why?
Yeah. What?
I'll tell you why, because I love her spirit.
Okay. What about her spirit?
A lot of energy.
She's got a lot of energy. What about her energy?
Well, it's alive, right?
Yeah. So, are you in love with my mom? Have you told her that you love her?
I'm not in love with your mom yet, because I don't know. I'm not in that stage yet.
Okay. Do you think you can get there by the end of this journey? I mean, we're looking at.
I don't know.
Brutal.
Oh boy. This is rough but also in a way affirming, because I'm like, this is now someone in the universe of the show having the reaction to Mel that I'm always having, where she's like, oh, okay,
but
like, is that it? Did you have anything planned beyond great when I ask about your feelings for my mom?
And he's like,
he
no,
doesn't.
Certainly not.
And then when she asks what he likes about her, and he just keeps finding ways to rephrase, I like that she's so energetic. Well, what about her energy?
It's alive.
It's alive. Like, you can't be alive without having energy. So when there's energy, that's like life,
And understandably, after this, Dakota is like, I am not being put at ease by these answers. This is concerning, actually.
So after all the years of watching the various versions of this show, I've wished that, and it's happened once or twice sort of, but only very much at the end, but I wish somebody had stated the obvious, which is, of course you can't be in love with someone after this period of time, and absolutely you're probably not going to get married, and this engagement isn't real, it's all for television, so let's talk about how I feel about them in that context.
But I think some people do. Like, I think some leads are able to articulate real things. And I also do think, and I think a lot of it is the Bachelor bubble, but there are people who develop feelings that are like genuine and what they feel in that moment is love. And I think Mel is just like not open to it.
Mel is not one of those. And also, he is not willing to be one of those people who actually articulates truth, that he likes them. He's having fun dating them. He might want to date them some more, but he's not in love with anyone.
Yeah. No, I mean, he says that.
Yeah.
To be fair, he does actually say that.
He does say that. Like, I'm always torn about this because I think watching, we're always like, well, I wouldn't probably be in love at that point either. It's such an artificial process. It's so short. They've spent so little time together, even during this process. But the reality is that, like, if someone gets to this stage and they can't express more enthusiasm to the families, it never bodes well. Like, there are people who end up getting engaged and staying together, and it's usually not someone who was at the hometowns being like, I like her, I guess, but it would be crazy to say that I have really deep feelings for anyone. Like, I think that there is some level of just surrendering yourself to the absurdity of the process that is predictive of some level of success.
Which all the
It
women
can also
have
go
done.
very wrong. Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
The women have all surrendered themselves. The women, I don't know, we're all watching the same Mel. Well, I guess we don't see what's behind the scenes, but I still can't figure out what a single one of them has fallen for.
Yeah,
I don't
same.
know. It's certainly, yep. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. More than usual. Well, that's not fair. I often don't know about the Bachelors, what people are responding to about them, but I really don't know. I think what we all just keep going back to, though, is that, like, whether he is in love with them or not, or falling or not, whether that's all artificial, he also just doesn't have anything specific to say about these women that suggests that he's really invested in dating them either. And that would be concerning to me as a daughter of one of these women.
Dakota even asks, like, if you don't get there with any of these women, are you going to say, I still want to date? And he can't even commit to that.
Yeah.
Good for Dakota. Dakota asked good questions.
I know.
She really pressed him.
She did
She's
journalism.
She's like, the goal of this is to propose. And he says, well, my goal is actually to find somebody, whatever that means. And she's like, are you really looking for a lifelong partner? And he says that he was married for 25 years and he likes being married. And if he wasn't serious about it, he wouldn't be here. Which, again, like, isn't exactly a response. Like, you can like being married, but she asked, are you really looking for a lifelong partner? You could just say yes, so it seems meaningful that he chooses to not directly answer that. Dakota tells him that her mom has been through so much and her heart deserves to be cherished. She's protective of her. And he says all he can tell her is that he will do his best. So she finally kind of throws her hands up. Like, she's like, okay, I can't do anything more with this. So you seem like a good guy. You seem down to earth. Please just don't drag my mom through the process once just let her go. But she's not very happy after this conversation. She's like, I don't think that this is what my mom deserves. At this point in the process, I would be hoping to hear more from him. Peg asked Dakota what she thinks of Mel, and Dakota's like, he's a nice man, for sure. I don't want you to, open your heart up and get hurt. And Peg is like, well, nobody wants to get hurt. There's 3 of us in this now, so, like, that's how it goes. And Dakota says, well, as your daughter, you've already been through so much. I kind of just want to say, like, come home. Don't go through this. And Peg says, well, nothing risked, nothing gained. And we have a really genuine connection. She is full steam ahead. And I think I almost worry that Mel kept her this week in part because she seems like really, like, steady, like she's optimistic and doesn't seem too, like, raw and vulnerable, but that doesn't mean that she won't be really devastated if it's not her. because she's being very chipper and just like, well, here we go. Like,
Yeah.
and Dakota says she's just concerned her mom isn't going to be appreciated the way she deserves. She deserves the love of her life. And after this conversation, though, and her mom talking about her connection with Mel, she's like a little mollified. She's like, okay, well, I do think he's genuine. If he weren't genuine, as you pointed out, guys, he would have just filled her with false promises. Like, at least he was being genuinely like, I like your mom. She's great. That's all I can say. She's like, he seems like a good match. I just hope he's able to continue to show my mom that he's the person that she deserves.
We agree, Dakota.
As they leave, Mel says he hopes he'll see them soon, and Dorothy asks him to just treat Peg kind and love her until the end of time.
That's
Just
it.
That's all.
That's small ask. Small ask. Now
I was like, you know what? Shoot, go for it. Go for it, Dorothy. She's like, I'm just gonna throw it in.
Yeah, just throw it out there.
Just, love her till the end of time.
Afterward, Mel and Peg sit on a bench and agree that things went well. He mentions that her daughter kind of grilled him, and she's like, Dakota, she's hilarious. Peg says that seeing how Mel embraced her family showed her a different side to him, and she sees him off with a kiss.
On that note, we're going to take a quick break, and when we get back, Debbie's hometown.
And we're back, and we are in Denver, Debbie's
Gorgeous.
hometown.
Although
beautiful.
Denver is now triggering for me, having watched all of Love is Blind season 9.
I'm like looking at the wide shots of Denver, and I'm like, where are these people right now? Like, are they okay?
Yeah, I'm concerned.
I need a heat map of Love is Blind contestants in those pan over shots. As he heads over to meet Debbie, Mel says that they have a soulful level connection, or like a connection on the soulful level.
All those words were in there. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he loves her love for life. He sees a life with her. That's actually more than he said about Peg in
That
another
is,
sense.
Yeah,
I'm
actually
shocked. I
Forgot about
reran
that.
Because it was the first time we heard it.
Yeah, it's the only time he articulates, which given that he then sends her home is really
Yes.
interesting.
Well, he sees it. He sees it,
He
so
sees
he can
it
kind
and
of
he
evaluate.
rejects it.
He rejects
And he
it.
goes running in the other direction.
Yeah, he's like, I don't like what I see.
No, I was sure that meant she was going to the next level, and was therefore kind of surprised at the end, because it's the only single statement in
about
the
the future
entire
that we get.
show really about the future.
Wow.
Yeah. I was feeling by the end of Debbie's date like Peg was going home, because aside from saying that he was smitten, he was just so careful not to say anything remotely strong about her.
But then he also, then I started getting worried about Cindy. Honestly, I was worried about all of them because I was like, I don't think he likes anyone.
Yeah, well, that wouldn't be an unusual outcome. So as Debbie greets him, they're at Red Rocks, which she says is such a healing spiritual place. It's always interesting when people decide to kind of like replay their most successful date or one of their more successful dates as their hometown.
It's funny. It seems like Debbie and Mal are like, our relationship is the spiritual one, because we did a weird shaman date.
Because they had the tantric yoga portion of the shaman date. So she's trying, it seems like she's trying to like evoke that sense in him again. She tells us that at the shaman group date, she learned that they are both very spiritual, and we see them walking around and spiritually enjoying the beautiful views and butterflies. Meanwhile, she tells us that it's necessary for him to understand why she's been single for so long. And they sit down in the amphitheater, and she tells us that the last time she was in love, she had told him that it was sort of a traumatic ending, but she hadn't said why. And I realized that I'd never really thought much of it. I just assumed that she got like left in a painful way, like so many of these women, frankly, have.
This story.
This was so hard to hear.
The minute then when she said that he struggled with depression, I was like, oh God, this is where this is heading.
Yeah. So she says the last time she was in love, they were together for a couple years. She was about to turn 51, and she knew that he was going to propose, but she also had known that he struggled with depression. She just didn't like know the extent of it, I guess. She says he hid a lot from her, but as the relationship progressed, she started to see more and more of the symptoms. and how he was struggling with it. She tells Mel that she had tried to break up with him before during their relationship, but she'd never been able to go through with it because she loved him so much. But they ended up seeing a therapist together, and with the therapist's kind of support, she chose to leave the relationship. And a few weeks later, he did die by suicide.
I mean, that is so traumatizing.
Yeah.
And it explains a whole lot about Debbie that we never completely understood. I mean, it
agree.
changes her whole role in this and what she's looking for and why she's led the life she's led. And I was surprised. I had no clue that it went this deep.
Yeah.
I agree. And it also just reminded me, like, oh, there's so actually little that we've learned about these women's stories. And I feel like this week we get more than we had, but it's crazy to be this far in and just now learning this really important detail about Debbie that does explain so much of who she is, or specifically who she is within the context of searching for romantic love.
Okay, but even further, it's the first he learns.
Yeah.
Well,
and we are so far in, and he did not know this key
really
fact.
important thing. Yeah.
Yeah. And Mel says, "Wow, I'm sorry to hear that," which it is a tough, I mean,
It's a tough thing to respond
tough
to.
There are
thing to
no good
respond
words.
to.
There are no
Yeah.
good words. I can't blame him for being awkward. There are no good words.
Yeah. There's no truly correct response to that. And she's clearly, I mean, we've spoken a lot about how Debbie seems very like her emotions are close to the surface. Like she seems to need this more than the other women. And it wasn't entirely clear why, but like you can see why this would be such a traumatic event, and surrounding this question of like
Proposal, marriage.
what kind of relationship she deserves to have, that like would be very difficult to just always be sitting on your shoulders. And she says she felt a lot of guilt. It took her 10 years to work through the pain, and she moved to Denver in the aftermath to be close to her sister Judy and her sister's family. And Mel tells her, "You wouldn't have known that, though." And she says it was a shock. And she says, "It's not like I fell out of love with the guy." And in the moment, he says he admires her strength and her spirit. I guess that his "you wouldn't have known that" is responding to the idea that she should feel guilty.
Yeah, I think that's what he was responding to.
Yeah. And also, like, no one really owes it to someone to stay in a relationship that is hurting them, right? But that doesn't mean that it feels okay that this would happen afterwards. And especially if she still loved him, it must have been incredibly
the trauma
heartbreaking.
that she likely carried for a good long time afterwards, and the significance of jumping back into something this big, this public, in order to finally get the ending that she didn't get all those years ago. I mean, this is almost too much to stand.
No, it made me really, I was like, I'm worried about Debbie. Like, I want to hug her. I just want her to be okay.
Yeah. Debbie says that she put all of her focus into starting her company and helping others, and now she's here. He's going to meet her family. It's such a big deal. And she assures him that she still feels the way she felt when she told him she was falling. So Debbie's family is waiting for her in a Denver backyard, and they're all so excited to see her. They're like, "Debbie!" And Mel is awkwardly behind being like, "Hey, I'm Mel." They're like, "Okay, we'll get to you." She has a lot of siblings. He's meeting her oldest brother, Ron, her youngest brother, Steve, her sister, Judy, and husband, Mark, and her twin sister, Donna.
Yeah, I was like, wait, she's a twin? Okay, we're learning so much.
It's also like fascinating that the sister she seems to feel really close to is not her twin sister.
No, her older sister, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He offers the flowers he brought to Ron and says, I brought these for you. And they share a big guffaw. Because imagine flowers for a man.
How absurd. How disgusting
ridiculous.
if you really think about it.
But that allows it to be funny also. And we all do love to laugh. Mel goes out to toss a football with the brothers.
He's like, thank
Where-
God.
Where he,
Thank
but he
God.
also
There's no
he kind
daughters.
of is making fun of them while tossing the football.
Like that they're not playing well enough.
Yeah.
It's like cute.
I was like,
I'm the big manly guy who knows how to do this, and I'm going to send you a lollipop.
Yeah. Here's a lollipop for you. That one I remember. Yeah, they were, and the brothers were kind of like ribbing each other about their relative levels of football ability. But it's a bold move. I think that sometimes male socialization is a little bit different in this way, where like it's certainly I would not dive right in with a potential sister-in-law by making fun of her about something that I'm like sort of objectively better at than her. But I do think that sometimes men do this, and
it seemed to work. And
Right.
I will say he seemed far more comfortable in this setting than he did
No,
with the other women-dominated family structure.
And there's also
are there men here, and can I go interact with them in some way revolving
Is
around
there a
football?
ball? Yeah.
But also there's the I am known as this version of Mel out in the world among you men. And so he could slip back into that. Here's where
Yeah,
I'm
I think
famous.
that's a good
here's
point.
here's
Yeah.
where they know me, and I can become that person again.
Right. Like it feels less about maybe getting to know them in the capacity of being their sister's sort of boyfriend and more about kind of flexing a little bit. And we have a clip of their conversation.
What's attracted you to Debbie?
To Debbie, what's
You know why? Because she's so sincere.
When you haven't seen her for a while, do you look forward to seeing her?
Oh, yes, I do.
You do.
Like today.
You look forward to
Yeah,
it.
because she has the personality. I love that personality. You know.
Debbie's a great lady.
Oh, she is.
She's our sister.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She has
She
the
has
personality.
the
She has the personality.
He's like, please don't probe any further. Don't ask what about the personality I like. Don't ask what the qualities of the personality are. Just know she has it and I like it.
So she has the personality that we love. The one. It's the one that we like.
You could see him start to panic. He was like, oh no, even the men are gonna ask me questions.
I know.
He's like, I thought we were tossing a ball.
He should have asked them if Debbie likes football, but like he let them sneak in a question first. That was a big mistake. And also like what attracted you to Debbie? Her sincerity. Like you prepared one quality, and I'm gonna say it, Mel. If they won't, that doesn't seem like enough. Is there any other quality that you like about her, or maybe 2 or 3? Like let's build on this.
No,
But he
if
also
I
has the
weren't
personality.
if I weren't talking to you guys about this one, I would have turned it off right about then.
Be like, okay,
That's
I'm
fair.
done.
That's fair.
So fair.
I think
Her
a lot of people are doing that.
Personality.
The personality.
The personality that Debbie has. Meanwhile, Debbie is telling Judy that she told Mel she was falling in love with him. Mel talks to Judy and she says that she hopes he's in this for sincerity. Sincerity seems to
A lot
really
of
be
sincerity.
the buzzword here.
So maybe sincerity was okay with the family.
Yeah, they're like, she
maybe
is-
that. Yep.
Famously, sincerity is the most important thing to us. She's like, we don't want her to be hurt. And Mel says she's dear to his heart, which I want to say also is something he maybe could have said to Peg's daughter instead of great.
Yeah, I
And I
wondered.
liked
He was like, okay, I gotta at least give a little more this time.
Just show a little warmth, you know? You don't have to promise anything. Judy and Debbie talk again, and Judy asks if she thinks Mel is sincere. And Debbie says yes, she can see it in his eyes. It just keeps getting better. Judy is like, I think it should happen. We're all team Debbie. They really adore her, I think, and they just really want this to work out for her.
I know, you can tell that all of her siblings are like, this thing has evaded her and she wants it, and we want it for her so badly.
Yeah, and whereas, like, I think with Peg and Cindy, we see more of the children being like, "We've seen you go through a lot of things that haven't worked out, including their marriages." With Debbie, they're like, You just withdrew, like, you haven't even been putting yourself out there, like, we really want you to have a partner, and it's finally maybe there's an
Yeah,
actual opportunity for it." It was very sweet. It made
it
me,
was.
really,
Yeah.
look forward to being in my 60s having barbecues with my siblings.
Come on over.
Don't be careful what
Well,
you
Yeah.
say.
we'll show you how it's done.
Mel and Debbie go sit on a bench, and Mel tells us in the moment that the connection has been strengthened by meeting her family. They agree that it was such a great time and her family is the best. And she says, "I don't want you to go." And he says, "I'm not going." And they kiss.
Which I
Moments
don't.
later, we see him step into a Suburban and
Okay,
leave.
so what was that? Also, what happened to the hometown evening dates? Where did we lose them along the way? They used to be there, right?
Well, the thing about the hometown is that it has traditionally been like two parts. It's like
Yeah.
a couple date and a family portion.
Uh-huh.
And
They'll
so
switch
often
around the times.
yeah, often the couples portion is first, but not always.
Okay, so
But
the
in
Red
these
Rocks
cases,
were the date.
Yes, the Red
Yeah.
Rocks was the date.
The going to
and
her apartment
the
was the
barbecue.
date, and the barbecue was what did
the
she
barbecue
get?
is the family portion.
Yeah, the barbecue was the family portion, and
Oh,
then
and the
like
Red
for
Rocks were the
Peg,
date.
yeah, the
Okay.
Red
Yeah.
Rocks was the date for Peg. The
I don't know. The dates used to
firehouse
be
was the
better.
date.
The dates used
Yeah.
to be better.
Well, they're also like they dropped one date, right? Like it's only 3 people, but it's half the length of a standard
Yeah,
Bachelor
we see a lot. We're
episode.
seeing a lot less.
Yeah, and
No,
and a
that's
lot
not
of it is
necessarily a bad thing in this case.
No,
okay?
there's often a lot of filler, but it doesn't leave us for like it means that the date portion doesn't leave as much of an impression because we're not
Yeah.
seeing like a full hour of them in like Pike Place Market tossing fish around or something.
And also, like, to be fair to Mel, we are also seeing fewer dates. Like, there's only 2 dates a week. He is getting to go deep with so few of the women by this
know.
point in the process that, like, it makes sense that it's very hard when you have such an abbreviated season to get past the stage of, like, "I liked her. We had one good date, and that's it." So they're meeting families and not much has had a chance to happen. I was really thrown by what happened here because why did he say he wasn't going and then he left immediately?
You would think an editor could have taken care. There's so much they choose not to show
Right,
us
like,
or
we
to divert
didn't
us
need
with.
that.
They could
Right.
have taken that one out.
Right. It seems like they left it in to indicate that he was not going to send her home, like, "I'm not
Right.
leaving you," um, which I guess is to set us up to be shocked when that's exactly what happens. I don't know. It was a very bizarre moment. In the moment, she says her feelings have grown so much for Mel. She says she never thought she'd have these feelings for a man again because she's been through hell and back. And if he doesn't choose her, she will be extraordinarily devastated.
Oh, again, I just got really worried.
Yeah. I've been worried about Debbie since basically the first time that she
Same.
spoke a full sentence on this show.
Yeah, no, immediately we were like, "Oh no. Oh no.
Yeah.
I'm worried. I need her to be okay." I didn't really think that she was going to be the final one.
Yeah.
And so you just knew that the moment of devastation would come.
Yeah, I think that, like, when someone's favorite quality about you is sincerity, that often indicates that they're keeping you around partly because you seem kind of safe in a certain way, and not that you have some sort of, like, unique connection. Um, and that's kind of been the nature of his whole connection with her, is that it feels more like
Yeah.
she is, like, sweet and comfortable and easy to talk to, but there's nothing, like, that kind of takes it to the
Stand
next.
out.
And he's
Um,
sort of in the realm of you got to pick someone. I mean, he does not seem to have this amazing draw to anyone in particular, and she's sweet.
Who knows? Who knows? I literally can't tell.
Who knows what's going on behind that facade?
Yeah, no, I couldn't tell you.
On that note, we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, Cindy's hometown and the rose ceremony.
And we are back, and it's time to head to Austin, Texas for Cindy's hometown. Mel tells us that he and Cindy connect on, quote, a certain intellectual level. A certain one? What level is it?
This remains
there.
This, I still think, is the most specific thing that he has said about his connection with the woman.
Grasping at straws.
He's basically like, I enjoy her sense of humor. That like is a more specific thing about what he likes about her than
that is true.
anyone else.
That's true. He thinks she's funny, which is great. And Cindy is like down bad for Mel. Like she's been thinking about him nonstop. Yeah. Seeing the moon reminds her of their date in the observatory.
She's like, when the moon hits my eye like a big pizza pie.
That's amore.
That's the big L amore. And I hope Mel is feeling that for me too.
The big L.
They meet in the park, a park with the view of the Austin skyline. She is in a long, ruffly pink dress, and he says she looks like a beauty queen. And she tells him that if he's a very good boy, she'll show him her condo later. She kind of points to where it is in the city. She tells us that she wants to show him the life she created after her divorce, but she also wants him to know that she is ready to create a new life together, even if it means leaving this life that she created behind.
Off to California. She's off to California.
She knows that if she's with Mel, he won't be moving to her.
Right. The eagerness to be like, don't worry, whatever beautiful, cozy life I've crafted for myself, I know you won't be leaving yours, so I will certainly be leaving mine. Cindy's 3 daughters, Caroline, Sarah, and Emily, are meeting Mel along with her son-in-law, Fred, and future son-in-law, Alex. And they meet at a restaurant.
I was just so... they're so beautiful. It was actually like distracting.
The genes are good in that group. Oh my
God.
Goodness.
And they all look exactly like Cindy. Mm-hmm. So
I texted Emma that it hurt my feelings.
It hurt my feelings
I was
too.
like, I can't look at this. It's not fair.
They are a breathtaking group. And
I always wonder, like, what is it like to just grow up in a hot family?
And they also seem real, which is a tough trick when you look that
pretty.
I mean, this whole family, I think, is just like ready for the spotlight in the way that like maybe Mel wasn't quite ready for the spotlight. They're ready. Cindy tells them that she met Paula Abdul on a date, and they all know how important Paula Abdul is to her.
I loved this.
She was like, who's that choreographer I always talk about? And they're like, Paula Abdul. What?
Obviously.
She was there? And she's like, it meant so much to reclaim a part of myself by like stepping back into that cheerleading passion that she had. Cindy talks to her daughters Caroline and Emily, and they ask how it has felt to date Mel because they know she's never dated someone who's also dating other women at the same time. And she says she feels so safe and so secure. And they're like, wow, you've never had that. Which is really, really heartbreaking. Like, she was married to their father for like most of their lives, and so for them to have felt that was never there is really tough. Cindy tells them that she's been hesitant to bring someone into the family, but she thinks he would be great. She says these feelings are big, and they encourage her to follow her heart to California if that's what she wants. Afterward, Caroline says she was worried Cindy would be lost in La La Land, but she seemed grounded. These women do so much to sell these relationships to their families, and they're just like swimming upstream because then Mel comes in. He's like, she's fine. Like,
she's good. Yeah.
I'm not looking for perfect. I'm not looking for perfect. So it's good.
What am I looking for? Who can, I don't know. Like, your mom is just a cool lady who's alive.
Although he does seem pleased to hear that she likes college football, which somehow has never come up yet.
Yes. Alex,
that's only information you can get from other men.
He literally goes to the men in her life, her son-in-law and prospective son-in-law, to ask for her bona fides on sports. Mm-hmm. Alex and Fred sit down with Mel. They ask what he's looking for, and he says he's not looking for perfect, just compatibility. And he's curious how Cindy will react to Saturdays, because we know that Saturdays are for the boys, and he loves college football. And they're like, just wait. She's going to love it. She's going to know more about you than college football. And I'm sure you know a lot. Like, she is obsessed. And Mel's like, oh, wow, that's a game changer.
That's a game changer.
That's a game
Jesus
changer.
Christ. Also, Mel, you can ask these women if they like the things you like. That's allowed.
That's allowed.
Jesus.
Haven't they talked about, like, wasn't she like a...
What have they been talking about if these things
Very
haven't
little.
come up?
I don't even remember. But he's like, he visibly perks up at this. Like, you can see that he is kind of looking for a woman who is that perfect combination of like cool girl, where she's like gorgeous, youthful, effortlessly beautiful and fit, and also just really passionate about male interests.
Yeah, but wouldn't that be Peg? And
Well, yeah, but
no,
like,
I think Peg and Cindy actually both have
and I
a
think
bit of that.
Debbie being like a fitness
Right,
a fitness
that too.
instructor also is kind of like, she has really narrowed the field down to, and even like some of his other top contenders like Cheryl, like all kind of fit that profile.
That's
He's
such a good
narrowed
point.
the field down to everything he said he was going to tell the producers he wanted, except for their birth date.
Over 60. Yeah.
Yeah. And he's really learning how blinkered he was, because women can be over 60 and be fit. And that's so important. Mel talks to Sarah next, and she asks about her mom and like what he likes about her. And he says she's intelligent, sophisticated, 2 adjectives, and they have a lot in common. 3 things, not just physical attraction. Look at Mel.
Mel, you're improving with each day.
He's
that
been
you're
That's enough
passing.
for a
He's been
5-paragraph
practicing.
essay.
Yes.
And then I love that Mel asks like the question you're never supposed to ask anyone who's single, which is like, so why hasn't your mom been able to bag a man? Like, sir.
What's wrong with her? What's
Yeah.
the secret thing? Why is she still single? And Sarah's like, well, she's dated lots of great guys, but they're just not the guy. And it's really important to her that her next relationship is like for the rest of her life. Mel, do you know what it's like out there for single women?
He does not.
And then imagine being a single woman who's out there in her 60s in a dating pool of 60-something men who are like, I only prefer to date women under 60. Gosh, I wonder how she could possibly not have found the right guy yet.
The problem is you, Mel. Her problem is you.
Like, he would probably go on an app and filter her out. And he's like, how could she still be single?
No, he would be like 45 to 55 only.
Yeah. Literally.
Because they can't keep up with him.
Yeah.
Although he's not doing so well in that department.
So we're going to get into this because this is relevant to the next part of the conversation. Actually, I think we have a clip of the next part of the conversation. Let's play it.
See that potentially with my mom? Is that kind of where you guys are at in the experience? And there's still...
Well, I don't know. I like your mom a lot, right? But I don't know what's going to unfold in the next, few weeks or months or whatever.
Yeah.
But I'm just let it come naturally.
Can you see yourself in 20 years, maybe sitting on a rocking chair, maybe doing something active?
So I'm on a rocking chair.
Yeah.
I won't be in a rocking chair.
All right, on a motorcycle or
That either,
climbing a mountain
yeah,
on a horse.
I can do that on a horse, yeah.
With her, potentially? Yeah.
Potentially, you never know.
Potentially, of course.
Because I'm still getting to know her, all right? But
it seems like Mel may be either a little bit unsure or a little bit tight-lipped about how much he maybe loves my mom and kind of sees a future with my mom. I don't think that he really gave a lot of straight answers. I'm a little bit worried about the long-term relationship that we know my mom wants.
Look, the daughters, the eldest daughters are here to fucking lay down the law. I love how he's like, well, not a rocking chair.
Not a rocking chair for me.
I don't sit in chairs.
He's going to be 86.
We need to give him some statistics. He's going to be 86, and any woman he's with who is his age is going to outlive him statistically.
He does.
Right.
So I don't think Mel is someone who has grappled with his own mortality.
Right. And it's going to be his caregiver.
That's why he likes to be with women 20 years younger than him. I don't think he quite realizes also that, like, when you get to 86 and you're with someone 20 years younger than you, that actually might make you feel older. Like, I think when you're 40 and you're dating someone in their 20s, you can lie to yourself
I
and be
know
like, I'm so youthful.
his girlfriend or wife is gonna be off climbing a mountain, and he'll be on his lazy boy being like, "Well, it's not a rocking chair, okay? It's grandpa's lazy boy, and no one else is allowed to sit in it. It's good for my back." I mean,
Like, Mel,
listen,
you're allowed to sit in chairs.
you
It's
can
okay.
and you can be a very active 86-year-old, I'm not denying
Yes.
that, but first of all, statistically unlikely that you're gonna be climbing a mountain at 86, first of all. Second of all, Mel, you played professional football for many years. I think we can all it's clear that that has been very hard on your body. Of course, like I hope that you are still incredibly active in 20 years, but like that takes a toll. There is a very good chance looking at you now, I'm like, you might be sitting in a rocking chair in 20 years. That's okay.
Well, that's the thing. It's like the disdain he has for the idea. I'm just like, that's going to make this next chapter of your life very painful if you cannot envision a version of yourself that isn't exactly as it is right now. Like, that is coming for all of us. Things change, bodies change. Like, that is just what happens if we are lucky.
I actually think he's attached to a version of himself from 20 years ago.
Well, I
Like,
agree.
You
I
need
agree,
to start
actually.
disentangling your self-identity from the idea that you will be like fully able-bodied and capable from the rest of your like we all do, right? Like
And that's hard.
age
That
comes
is hard.
with all kinds of many of us will become disabled or less abled as we get older. And like he is more animated about this than anything else, like than any conversation about the women. Like he's like, oh, you never know. Like maybe I'll still know your mom at that age. A rocking chair. What?
I know. I'm like, she's just throwing out. She doesn't care what activity you're doing.
Right.
She's just saying like,
Is my
maybe you're
mom
doing
there?
this, maybe you're doing that. Whatever you see, do you see my mom? And he's like, well, go back to the rocking chair part.
Yeah, that's
Forget
the
your
thing I
mom.
really care about. One thing
No,
I do know I don't see myself with in 20 years is a rocking chair.
He clearly sees aging and all the things that come with aging as failure on the part of
Yes.
the person who is aging. And he is in for a rough time if he doesn't change his worldview.
Yeah. There's so many biographies of Picasso that you can read in that rocking chair, Mel, and maybe you can also still go out on a motorcycle from time to time. I wish that for you.
No, he doesn't want to be in a motorcycle either. He's like, that's deeply dangerous.
I
He's
think
like, he wants to climb a mountain on a
that's
horse.
safe. That's safe. Sarah feels she really needs to talk to Cindy to understand whether she could welcome Mel into the family. And she tells Cindy that Mel was a little reserved. And Cindy's like, well, it's hard for him to answer questions because he still has other people in the mix. And Sarah says, well, when I asked if he saw himself with you when life slows down, and then she's like, I don't think he thinks life ever slows down. And Cindy smiles and says, remind you of anyone?
Well, I'm just going to say, Sarah clocked it.
Yeah. And Sarah seems to be trying to get the point across without being like, life will probably involve slowing down. She's like, the point is like when there are still moments, like surely at some point he'll be sitting in a chair and so will you. Like maybe at dinner, like I don't know. Can he be present with you at those moments?
The kids are so diplomatic.
I know they are.
So insightful. It's really fascinating to watch the difference between the players who are watching and the ones who are actually on the main stage and what they
and they're
don't
not
see from that main stage.
And it's also so different than the dynamic that you would see with like an overprotective parent, like coming in all macho or something and trying to like shut down the person's feelings. These are their kids, so they're trying to be like gentle with that, but also honest. And it's kind of great to watch.
But Cindy is really in the process. She's like, I understand that he has to keep his cards close to the vest. Like, I'm not worried about it because I know that in those moments he really can just be there with me. I feel really grounded and at peace with him. And she tells Sarah that she thinks of this process as letting her excavate her old self. She's like, I've been divorced for 7 years. You know how hard I've tried to put me back together, she says. And this is when she tells her daughter that she may, big L, love Mel. And Sarah says she trusts in her but feels protective. This is the cold open scene. And she says she's also excited for her, but she wants to know, like, does he love her enough to choose her only forever? And this seems to kind of get through to Cindy a little bit. But after this, Sarah believes that her mom loves Mel, and she hopes that Mel sees that and recognizes how special she is, because Cindy is the catch. That night, they walk, Cindy and Mel, through downtown Austin.
So this is the date where we get the order switched.
Yes. And Mel says that he loves the downtown atmosphere.
I mean, Austin is a major city, Mel.
He loves it. He loves that downtown atmosphere. That's the whole point. He's like, yes.
I'm sure he's moving there any moment now. Yep.
Yeah, he's like, I won't be spending a lot of time here, but I love the downtown atmosphere.
He loves the personality. He loves the downtown atmosphere. She shows Mel her condo, which is immaculately decorated, like it's been like expensively staged.
Stunning.
And it has a gorgeous Austin City view. She's like, this is my jewel box. It's my safe space. And they make drinks. She asks him about her kids, and he's like, they're wonderful. They're polished. They're great. I loved them. And in the moment, she says, I know I feel the big L for Mel, but she's questioning because her kids are questioning. She's wondering if she's missing something. And she says, I'm not going to big L you if you're not there with me.
I like that self-respect, Cindy.
Me too.
Also, they're drinking Cosmopolitans.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, who made those? They're two perfect
Cindy
pink
did.
Cosmopolitans.
I feel like she could make
Would
a
not have
drink.
thought that was Mel's drink of choice.
Well, we do see him putting ice into glasses. I don't know if that was like the extent of his contribution. But like maybe he's into cocktails. Maybe he could whip her up a Cosmopolitan after a long day of mountain climbing and horseback riding.
And moving the chairs out of the way.
Cindy brings up her concerns with Mel as they like sit out on the rooftop space. She says her kids are concerned that he's not there with her with his feelings. She says she's really falling for him. She's like, I'm really, really, really falling for you. And I see how we could forge something precious together. But she knows that he's had two other hometowns. I think we have a clip of the rest of this chat.
But I wanted to get a gut check from you.
It's complicated. You know, there's choices I have to make, and they're difficult. But this brought me closer.
I do know that somebody will pick me. I hope it's you.
That's why we're here.
I had hoped to get more assurances from him tonight. They weren't coming, and I'm not going to push.
Well, thanks for coming to Austin. I hope you come back.
So right now, I'm still an option. Next time I see him, we'll be at the rose ceremony, and he has to choose me. We'll see what happens.
Okay. Bye-bye.
That's why we're here, Cindy.
Lord.
That's why we're here.
I have to give her a lot of credit, honestly, for not spinning out in this moment. Like, she's very direct. She's like, my kids have these concerns. How are you feeling? He completely fails to give her anything. And she's like, okay. I also love that she said, I know that someone will pick me.
Yeah. It's interesting because I felt like so torn about even that statement, because I feel like women are always framing relationships through the lens of being picked. And that's such like
That's true.
A frustrating lens that we're given, that we're like kind of waiting to be picked, and our confidence is expressed through like, well, I'm good enough to be picked, so someone will pick me. And men are given much more like agency over that sort of thing. But I do appreciate that she has the confidence to say like, this is not my only option. I'm not like
I
desperate
wish
for
it,
you.
yeah,
I think
but
that's
I wish
what
it
I
felt
took
like
from it.
like real confidence.
Mm.
It felt like a pep talk to herself, given what we know about her life so far. And it felt protective, understandably protective.
She
But
really wants it.
I believe
And
she really believed that someone was out there for her, that they could pick each other. On the other hand, I have mixed feelings about Mel. I mean, we keep criticizing him for not saying what these women wanted to hear, but he didn't feel what these women wanted to hear.
I mean, and I agree.
Yeah.
And he says that. He's like, in his ITM afterwards, he says that he and Cindy have a connection and chemistry, but he's not falling for her. He says he's only been in love once. He had a painful divorce, so he doesn't take the word love lightly. And I had felt like so certain actually about his connection with Cindy, and this is the first time that I had a question about it.
Yeah. No, same. I this took me a step back on things with Cindy, with my personal connection with the Cindy and Mel love
Yeah,
stories. Took me a step back on my
exactly.
journey.
I thought it was a done deal, and
Same. And now
I was a little surprised that he thought otherwise.
I agree with the mixed feelings. I don't want him to mislead the women by making these over promises. But I do think that like a good lead who is comfortable in the role can offer something that is more than basically a shrug and a "we'll see." Like, in terms of like, expressing that this process is not over, that he's not there yet. But if there's really so little that he can't express any warmth or, like, real connection with her at this point at the same time, then why is she even still there, you know? Like, to not be able to express what he does feel for her, even if it doesn't rise to the same level as what she feels for him, to me, it makes it hard to keep people investing in the relationship all the way to the end, which is a very important part of being the lead of this show. And then it
Right.
makes me wonder how these women are all able to sit there and say, like, I feel so confident about the relationship. He makes me feel safe and secure.
Like,
With
how?
what? Like, we're seeing all the time that, like, maybe he's being honest, but he's not doing what he could do to make them feel safe and secure, such as that is, possible.
And even if it's not possible to make them feel totally safe and secure in the relationship, at least feel valued. I think that's what's
Yeah.
frustrating me. It's not that I want him to say, like, it's you, or like, I definitely see a future with you. But what he could say is, like, this time with you has meant so much, and here are the reasons, and here's what it meant to me to be welcomed into your family. Just like the kind of things that you can hold on to and be like, he gives a shit.
Yeah. It's the lack of feeling like he gives a shit for me.
We see a connection. He
Right.
doesn't see the connection.
Yeah, we
And
see
that's
it more than him, which
frustrating.
is
Yes,
wild.
we see that the two of them do have something, and that she is someone to be valued. And then he seems to not know this, or not have the words for it, or not be introspective enough to be able to explain it. But whatever it is, there is something there, and he can't even articulate it.
There just seems almost like an annoyance that he has that's like, "This is why we're here. Like, why do you want more from me right now? Like, this is the process. Like, don't know, like, deal with it." Like, part of the process is having these overwhelming, painful feelings and needing some help to kind of hold them until you're released from this horrible process. Um, but Cindy is left without the reassurance she wants, and then we're back at the Bachelor mansion. She is in a limo heading to the mansion, and she is somber. She has no sense of how hometowns went for the other women, and she's in her head. She wonders if she's given enough. I wonder if she's thinking, like, I should have said, I love you, even though he couldn't say it back.
I think it's for the best she didn't.
Yes, he
Personally.
would have gone running for the hills.
Yeah, I
if
think he would have
she
gotten
had
really
said
freaked
it.
out.
Also, she's dressed for a funeral, which
She
I thought
definitely
was
dressed
interesting.
yeah, I think that they all
A
dressed
somber scene. Well,
Yeah, I know. I
only
couldn't tell
yeah.
if she was wearing black or navy. I thought it was navy, but then in certain lights it looked black. I
either
don't
way,
know.
it's more of a sort of somber
Subdued.
look,
Yeah.
whereas the other women who left the dates, I think, feeling better
Are wearing bright colors.
exactly. So it did feel meaningful. But this is just how the process, even if it's self-protective to not say I love you, there's this sense that like, what if another woman said that she loved him? What if that's what put her
True.
over the top? Like, am I limiting myself by not letting down my walls? And we always see this toward the end that they feel like they have to compete. Jesse greets each of the women as they arrive. Peg is first. She's dressed in like an icy blue silk gown.
It perfectly matches her eyes. Stunning.
Yeah. They know how to dress, or they know how to dress them.
Really
Whoever's
good
doing the
gowns.
dressing, really
I mean,
good
they
dressing.
brought their own. Maybe it's their daughters. It's them and probably their daughters.
Yeah, the contestants don't get styled, so they
all look amazing.
yeah. She says she's a bundle of nerves and she thinks Mel would fit really well into her life and vice versa, but she doesn't know where she stands. Next is Debbie in hot pink sparkles. She feels that Mel meeting her family was life-changing and she believes that she's the best fit, but she wonders if the other women had as great a time at hometowns as she did. And Cindy is last. She tells Jesse that she's excited about a future with Mel, but if it doesn't go her way, it's going to feel terrible. She has true feelings for Mel, and she tells the camera that she thinks she and Mel are a perfect match, but her family brought up concerns, and so she needs more reassurances from Mel.
And then Mel arrives, and my God, we need to talk about this suit. He just continues to give commentator on ESPN at every turn. It's this all gray look. I have no words.
Yes. So whoever's dressing Mel, not so good.
Well, okay, so it is Carrie Fettman, the show's stylist, but I'm currently reading Gary Turner's memoir, and we've heard a lot of other leads talk about the styling process. There is a lot of like your personal style that Carrie injects in. So he'll bring in a whole bunch of garments, and it really falls on the lead to be like, I like that and I feel good in it. So I do think we are seeing Mel's preferences here. And maybe Carrie should have said, I know you love that, but
he's like, I love a
better.
Boxy suit.
Right,
and
but
a
also
shiny
they
tie.
don't fit. The camera goes behind him, and it's clear that he's got more mass than, and he's really muscular.
They need a better
I'm not
tailor.
Body shaming him. He is a muscular man who needs
no shame. He looks
a
great.
suit
It's just
that contains him.
No, it doesn't fit.
not
It's
good.
always it looks like it's like floating loosely around him at the collar and shoulder level. Like it's a floating suit that just happens to be
so
sort of
bad.
near
And the tie
him.
is so shiny. Okay.
Emma would like you to try a matte tie.
Like I have
No.
so much feedback.
Yeah. Listen, it is tough sometimes when you have an athletic shaped body to find a suit that just like fits you, but come on, you're the Bachelor. Like we could be getting this really nicely tailored. I do believe in that. He says that he thinks this is going to be the toughest rose ceremony because each one of them would be great. That's what makes the decision so hard.
Profound.
He thinks all of the women deserve a rose, and that's where the anxiousness and the emotions come in.
I was like, what emotions, Mel? Name
Anxiousness.
one.
Guilt?
No, anxiousness isn't an emotion according to him. There's anxiousness,
Right.
and then there's the emotions.
then
I'm
there's
like,
the
what's the
emotions.
emotions? Say more.
He said all he can say, okay? It's rose ceremony time. And Mel gives his little pre-ceremony speech, which we did have to clip. So let's take a listen.
Ladies, when I first spoke with the group regarding the podcast, I had my own personal mea culpa. I thought that I wanted a certain type of woman, and I still do, and they're right here before me. Beautiful, accomplished, brilliant, spiritual. But I have a very, very, very difficult decision. It's not one that I take lightly, And I stand before you, humbled, with an open heart.
Okay. When this started, I thought I was hallucinating. I was like, did I accidentally put on an old? Why is he talking about the podcast?
Yeah, we
again?
moved past that.
Don't remind us about the podcast.
He's like, I know what I'll do. Turn it on its head.
I think what he was actually saying here, like if he was being really honest with himself, is when I first apologized to the group, I didn't mean it. But now I've actually realized that I can feel like good boner feelings for women who are over 60.
No, he's looking at
so
him and he's
I'm
like,
actually sorry now.
he's like, none of you have had a hip replacement. So
yeah.
in a way, they listened to my demands.
Yeah, I said sorry then, but now I'm really seeing that I was wrong, actually.
Now that I realize you're not wearing a wig, I'm
right. You're
in.
not wearing a wig and you're all real hot.
It's like, I've now reached the point in the season where I've had a chance to surreptitiously tug on all of your hair, and you've all passed with flying colors.
Jesus Christ.
What a choice. So he hands out 2 roses, and they go to Peg and Cindy. This means that Debbie is going home. As she says her goodbyes to the other women, Cindy whispers, "Love is waiting for you," to her. And Mel walks her out. He tells the camera Debbie is genuine and she deserves love. He says his heart doesn't feel okay with saying goodbye.
It doesn't feel okay.
He tells her, sorry it had to end this way. They're sitting on the bench of tears.
Obviously, there's so many benches during a Hometowns episode.
This is the bad one. You don't want to be sitting on this bench.
No.
Debbie is choked up and says it's very upsetting, but she knew coming into this that this was a possibility. He says she touched his heart in more ways than one, and Debbie urges him, take care of those girls and be happy. And then as she gets into the car, they share a couple final kisses. In the Suburban, she says she put herself out there in such a giant way, only to have yet another disappointment. It's beyond painful.
This broke my heart.
Debbie.
I know, and there was no like inspirational message there, which is like really didn't strike me as a future Bachelorette exit.
Yeah.
It was just like, I am in deep pain and I've been rejected yet again. It like sucks because you know that it feeds so perfectly into the narrative that she's already constructed for herself.
And once again, I was left thinking that, I would love to see the Golden Bachelor without any men. Right?
They're ruining it.
Yeah.
I mean,
they're ruining it with Mel.
These women are dynamite. They all are. They all, I mean, they've let a little of the cat fighting in. They've let a tiny bit of the I want to be an influencer where we're
just
a
Nicole.
Little bit further along, just Nicole. But even Nicole aside, these women are just remarkable. And
I know.
And they all deserve better than this.
I agree. So we get a bit of a preview of like the finale, which is in Antigua. They finally get to travel. Mel and Cindy swim with the stingrays. Mel and Peg go ATVing. And Peg is like, Mel, I don't have time to waste. And Cindy says she wants her guy to feel struck by lightning and like he can't live without her. So we're going to get a little bit of emotional drama and trauma in the finale.
It seems like we're going to have maybe a bit of a flip of the Gary situation where he was like so into the final 2 and was like so demonstrative. And then obviously there was a huge rug pull. And it seems like they're both going to spend fantasy suites basically begging him to care. Like,
yeah, they're like, hello,
Hi.
I exist. Do
adjectives.
You like me?
Give me some adjectives.
Yeah, like Peg being like, I'm just not trying to like sit and casually date you for 5 years. Like, I gotta move on with my life. We don't have time for this. So I'm very intrigued to see how Fantasy Suites in the finale go. But of course, next week we are getting the Women Tell All, and they give us an incredible teaser in which Nicole tells everyone that she's a trailblazer. So Delulu until the end. God bless.
Well, we know that Nicole thinks she's a trailblazer. She's like, I kiss Mel in the pool. Next week, everybody's going to be kissing Mel in the pool.
I just, I'm obsessed with Nicole because has very little relationship to reality.
But I do want to listen. I want to give her this. We have literally called her a trailblazer.
She is a trailblazer. She is historic in the sense that she has blazed a trail for villainy within the Golden franchise.
Yeah.
That is so true. So, you know what, Nicole?
That's probably what she means.
Nicole, you are a trailblazer, and that's beautiful. Lisa, thank you so much for joining us.
It was great spending time with both of you, as always. Be well.
Can you let everyone know where they can find all of your incredible work?
Yes. So latest book is called Genealogy of a Murder, and you can buy it everywhere. So go do that.
Yes, go do it. Thank you so much again. It's always such a treat to talk Bachelor with you.
And now it's time for Love to See It, Hate to See It. First up, hate to see it. Let's get that bad stuff out of the way. I personally hate to see that it is already hometowns, and I'm looking around being like, what facts do I know about any of these people?
I think I know more than Mel about some of these people.
That's fair.
Who is Mel? What is he doing at these nice ladies' hometowns? What's going on? I also hate to see his just ineptitude at the important Bachelor lead task of providing measured and appropriate reassurance to these women's family members or the women themselves. I'm not asking him to promise anything or overemphasize his feelings, but some sort of warmth and specificity about these women who have opened their hearts to him completely would be nice.
I agree. Also, hate to see Mel's seeming inability to carry on a conversation with a young woman. Like, he is so uncomfortable around daughters. I've never seen anything like it.
He can't ask them about sports. So it's like, what is there to even say?
He's like, ladies couldn't possibly like sports.
And I can't ask this young lady if her mom likes sports because why would she know? Does she have a boyfriend I can ask? Is there a boyfriend I can talk to around here?
Or a brother. I'll as long as the brother doesn't ask me any emotional questions.
He's like, oh no, a woman is talking to me. Can I produce one word? That should do her. That's more than enough. What, another question? What is this? The Spanish Inquisition? I also hated to see, again, his inability to offer the women he sends home emotional comfort or closure. I think this was in some ways the best one because he didn't just start trying to explain what happened and then trail off halfway through. But he doesn't offer anything except for sorry. And it's a tough thing, but it's like, when are we going to start seeing any sort of emotional comfort or specific
That's the thing. I'm just desperate for any emotional depth from Mel. Like, please show us and these women that this experience means something to you, is affecting you in any way. You don't have to marry any of them. That's fine. Just value the time that you all are spending together. And we are barely getting that, and it's starting to really frustrate me.
Yeah. I also hated to see Mel's suits and the tailoring.
I hated to see Mel's suits so much.
The floating color of doom.
Now it's time for Love to See It. I personally loved to see Peg's mom, Dorothy, a card-carrying member of Bachelor Nation. Dorothy is all of us, and that is so beautiful.
It is beautiful. The joy to see Bachelor Nation being represented on screen in this way, it warms my heart. I also love to see Dakota, Peg's daughter, grilling Mel within an inch of his life.
Incredible stuff.
That is what he needs. He needs to have, listen, he's a
She's
lawyer.
the Barbara Walters of the Bachelor franchise.
She is. And like Mel is a lawyer. So like he handled this like a cross-examination. He's like, I will answer only with one word exactly, like directly what needs to be answered. She's like, no, you're not going to weasel out of my questions this way. Let's go.
Also, frankly, have to give a shout out. I love to see the earned skepticism of Cindy's eldest daughter, Sarah, who also probed Mel more than I think he was up for. Also, love to see, frankly, Cindy's own skepticism and the fact that she pushed Mel a little bit.
Yeah, I love that too. And I love to see their rose ceremony looks. Unlike Mel's, they
Gorgeous.
all were just chef's kiss.
So, Claire, it is now time for our love, happiness, and fun rating out of 10 champagne toasts. I personally thought for sure it was going to go up this week.
It's going down.
It's going down. It's going into the depths of hell.
Because it's less fun, but that's not being countered by more love and happiness.
No, there was no love. There was no love.
Well, there was a little love from the direction of the women.
A little.
But that is almost more depressing because it's so unreciprocated.
I think I'm at like a 2.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely a 2. Can we get an upward turn? Can we get a 10 by the finale?
Honestly, I think we might have the highest rating during Women Tell All.
Like, listen, if I get one more fun episode out of that season, I won't complain about which episode it is.
Just one. And on that note, that's it for this episode of Love to See It with Emma and Claire.
Love to See It is a presentation of Odyssey. The show is produced by us, Claire Fallon and Emma Gray. Our production assistant is Tatiana Knies-Smith. This episode was edited by John Bahar. Our theme music is by Tamar Haviv, and our art is by Aaron Nestor.
If you like our show, remember to follow us, rate us 5 stars, leave a review, and of course, spread the word to all of your friends about Love to See It.
And use the good adjectives. Great. Personality.
Sincere.
So sincere. If you want to get in touch, you can email us at claireandemmapod@gmail.com.
You can also find us on TikTok at Love to See It Pod and on Instagram at Claire and Emma Pod. And you can find our newsletter Rich Text on Substack at claireandemma.substack.com. I'm also on Blue Sky at Emma Gray and on Instagram at EmmaLadyRose.
And I'm at Claire E. Fallon. Special thanks to the team at Odyssey, Eric Donnelly, Kate Rose, Moira Curran, Melissa Wester, and Hillary Ship.
We'll be back soon.
Can you keep